changing demands of the consumer within the funeral business. I'm Kari. I am here down in Salem, Ohio at Stark Memorial Funeral Home and Crematory to check out what they do for families that they serve. Dan Madden is the owner-operator here at Stark. He is a classmate of mine from Cincinnati College of Mortuary Science. And I've been watching what he has been doing with his funeral home, remodeling, making it more modern, making it consumer-driven, answering the needs of all the new families that are coming through with varying degrees of requests. He has answered those in a lot of unique and really cool ways. So he came here to Salem, Ohio to showcase his funeral home. Welcome inside. Dan's going to tell us a bit about the funeral home, the history that's laid out here, and some of the changes that he's made around here in the funeral home.
Hello, I'm Dan Madden, owner of Stark Memorial here in Salem, Ohio. We recently just made some updates here to a funeral home that has a lot of history, over 100 years, and really wanted to create a modern feel for our families. One of the comments we hear, it doesn't feel like a funeral home, and that's what we were trying to achieve, to make people feel at home when they're here. Features that we did is we wanted to create a gallery wall as people were standing in line for calling hours. We had a lot of history all the way up in the attic, and wanted to bring it down to show people where our roots came from, who paved the way. And this funeral home is 102 years old, but it actually starts much further back than that. In 1853, Gottlieb Stark, which is this gentleman right here, he started making caskets in this house in North Georgetown, a little south from here. Many funeral homes start making furniture, transition into caskets, and then they get into the funeral business where we are at this current location. A lot of old hearses here. I'm actually trying to purchase an old hearse, 1920s, 1930s, so if anyone's watching it has one, give me a call. A lot of the old licenses from O.G. Stark, who started this facility, used to sell furniture above the garage across the way, and it was Stark Colonial Attic, so we brought this sign out so people can see what we used to do.
As we walk through and check out the much more modern interior than it used to be, used to have dark curtains, mauves, and all the jewel tones back in the day that were so popular. Much darker, obviously. Super bright in here now. Like, I want him to come, furnish my home and redesign my home. It's beautiful. One of the most interesting things, though, he has done is change the backing behind where the casket sits. This is a textured tiled wall, which is super cool. It's very neutral, but also gives some texture and is beautiful and simple. So when you set up the casket, it doesn't detract. It just kind of amplifies, reflects a little light. It's different, not too different, just different enough. It's beautiful. Love this little added, but I love that some of the old school of this funeral home, the large wooden doorways here, the old stairwell, he's kept the character of it being an old, beautiful home. Still, these bathrooms, kept them as simple bathrooms instead of redoing them all, but has modernized the look inside of them. So to me, I love that. I love still having the pocket doors and showcasing the character of the old while bringing in all of the new. when you go into a funeral home, you can often find some history things. Funeral homes love to give away pens, rain bonnets, umbrellas, you name it. You can usually get different things at a funeral home. So Dan has filled this case with things he found from the past. An old shoe polish brush.
Yes, that's it.
I'm going to guess that he had back when phone numbers were just 4-digit numbers that you could have.
Hearse sign.
Old placard hearse signs. Oh, I'm never going to get that to balance again. You'll have to. Old recordings. What is on these is the question. That would be fun to figure out. Again, old signs from that you put in the hearse, and tons of old pictures from over the years. So history is a big part of funeral homes. So I love that Dan has tapped into what the community used to be and how the funeral home used to serve the community and moving it forward as times change.
That was kind of storage and just kind of created a nice arrangement area, meeting room. Put a lot of news clippings, things that I have we've done since I took over.
And you said this was somebody's bedroom?
Yeah, Nettie Starks, the original owners here in this location, this building. So like a lot of funeral homes back in the day, you lived above, and I lived above a funeral home for 11 years of my life, so it's still a thing. You know, employees live up there, apprentices, and
response to changes that you're making?
Yeah, so it has been overwhelming, the response we've gotten from the community. Every calling hours compliments all the time about the welcoming atmosphere. It's not as dark and dreary, it's bright. I just got a letter from someone I don't even know saying how remarkable the flowers look outside and how tidy we are with keeping the facilities clean and neat. She was just here for calling hours a month ago and just said the inside was so welcoming, and that's an everyday occurrence, so I couldn't be more happy with the response we've gotten from all the updates in the more modern funeral home in today's era. So one thing that we do here that's really different, kind of personalizes it for the family, giving them a keepsake to take with them. We have a candle that's burning at calling hours, and it's Beaver Creek Candle Company. I went to them early on when I took over. The candle company is actually made by mentally challenged kids, and I went to them, asked me to make me a candle, what they thought heaven smelt like, and I ended up picking this vanilla flavor. I named it Heaven Scent, S-E-N-T. And it burns during calling hours. We put the name of the deceased here, and the family can take it with them. I've seen many families on Facebook posting a picture of the candle burning on a birthday or anniversary of death, so it's a nice keepsake for the family. Another thing that we do are these forget-me-not seeds. Same thing, we have our company logo here, and we put the name of the deceased, and these flowers will come up every spring in memory of their loved one, and families love it. We serve a lot of royal families, so it's a big hit.
Another thing that is in demand when it comes to funeral homes is having a space together for a reception, luncheon, or if you're having just a gathering. Memorial gatherings have become more popular, is having a space for that food, to host, to greet people. And so Dan has taken and bought the things, more tables, tablecloths, everything to be able to set up this space into a luncheon space while the family's at the cemetery. Brings them food, all the catering, and a meal is ready here for up to about 90 people. You can fit in here for a luncheon. So this is another thing to meet the demands of families that want a place to have a reception, maybe have it immediately following a memorial service and do something simple. But he can do that here to cater to the families. So Dan has owned the funeral home here for about 5 years. This is into his 5th year. And then across the portico here over to, this is the crematory that Dan opened about a year ago. We're gonna go take a look at that. It's really nice to be able to offer kind of everything in one place. Michigan, we cannot have a crematory in a funeral home. It's just our laws. Here, you can do that.
Yeah, absolutely. So this was the original garage that we converted, watch your step here, converted into crematory space. This is a 2-car garage that we could pull our cars in. Different note, while I show you the crematory, this hearse here is actually what we call a hybrid hearse. That's a hearse. It's on a Chrysler Pacifica chassis, and they added a little bit to it. It's real modern. People like it. Less expensive than your traditional hearse. When you're using it less with the cremation rate going up, we wanted to get something a little more affordable. So this is our workspace for the cremation. We're pretty high tech here, a lot of accountability. We use barcode system. Every person gets a barcode and we scan every step of the way in the cremation process. Everyone that's in our care for cremation is on this TV here to show us what step, if we're waiting for paperwork, if we got the permits, if somebody's ready for a pickup. We have that all here on this screen. So this is our, we have a 32-bay cooler here. Again, just kind of wanted to create a modern feel. It's not industrial, it's not, people didn't expect to see just the retort just wide open with nothing around. We built walls, we have this nice marble around it. A lot of people come and witness cremation. We just kind of wanted to make a comforting feel for them. So this is our Matthews Power Pack 2 Plus, and real happy with it. We do have a room for another retort as we continue to grow. We built that. I mean, it's 1900s.
I mean, this is where the casket building happened.
They were used to sell furniture up out of here. Yeah, and yeah, it's kind of turned into a storage room that most funeral homes have. Kind of make a nice loft apartment one day, maybe for my son. We'll see.
He's got a couple years.
Yeah.
So I spy with my little eye some boys that I know. These were the dudes I hung out with at mortuary school a lot.
Yeah.
And Dan's right there, third from the right. There's Dan. I'll have to find a picture of Dan and I together at mortuary school. They exist. I'll have to go hunt them down. Thank you all for joining us here in Salem, Ohio. Thank you to Dan for welcoming us in. Tell us one more time about the funeral home.
Yeah, so we've been here at our location 102 years, and we've really created a modern feel here for the families we serve, and hopefully we'll be in business another 102 years.
Here at Stark Memorial Funeral Home and Crematory?
That's right.
So check out all of their social media and everything linked below. If you have made modern changes at your funeral home, let me know. Let me know other ideas you have about how to update and meet the needs of consumers.